Alcoholism, we are told, is a family disease, and it's genetic. It is also, when we look it in the Christian perspective, it's a generational curse, because not everybody who drank who became an alcoholic. So I decided to run away. At first I had thought that we can spend the night here, even if they have demolished and we still have a bed. I can just sleep, then tomorrow morning I would have known where to go. But they didn't want us to sleep there. So me, I ran. I remember I went and hid under the car, his car. I remember even this guy, the hard drug user, used to ask me, Catherine Aki, there's no day you'll want to think when you're sober. One day, even 1 hour, ukiwa sober, you see things in a sober manner. And that was not me. This time, when I was struggling with the alcoholism, my mother passed on. And I did not mourn her. Even I never knew she had died. She was sick and she died. Said meetings were not making sense, because that's where I found people who are laughing, you know. Me, laughter to me was gone. I think I could see it on movies, people laughing. It was not normal.
Watching High Step TV.
Are you married? Or you're dating? Do you even have plans of ever getting married? Or you are single by choice? Join me on YouTube channel High Step TV as we dive deep into matters relationships, marriage, and parenting, and how these bonds affect our relationship with God. Let us learn together on ways we can improve and build strong, healthy relationships in the right foundation.
The Bone Show. Beautiful people, godly bonds.
Good morning or good evening, depends with the time you are opening this video, but we hope that you are all fine. And today it is another day, we thank God, and we are grateful to God that He has given us another chance to be alive, to celebrate and to be happy. We have just many reasons to rejoice. Today I'm with a guest who is going to help us to know more about recovering from alcohol. You might be struggling in alcohol and you don't know what to do. You really want to stop, but you don't know how. You have kids, boys and daughters that are struggling. You pray for them, you talk to them, you do the best you can so that they can stop, but suddenly they found themselves going back and forth in just going around in alcohol. You have a spouse who is in alcohol and you wish, you really pray hard that your beloved can stop, but suddenly they are not stopping. And when you look at these people, you can even give up, think that there is no hope in them because of how they respond when you talk to them, when you ask them about alcohol, when you are talking to them, when you are telling them that you are wrong or something you are doing is very crazy, it will take you to hell. Most of them, they don't understand them because the alcohol is driving them. But there is those who like, they drink and they come back to their senses when they are sober for a few minutes. When they see what they have done because of alcohol, they cry. They wish that they can stop. They even try to stop. There are those who even go to churches they can be prayed for, and the priest pray for them, and they go back to drink. There are those who stops for some weeks, some months, and they find themselves back into the bar. And when you look at that game, you think that it is not possible to stop. But good news, it is possible. We are going to have our guest who is going to talk to us, because by God's grace, he has stopped. So stay tuned and know more how you can stop, how your beloved can stop, how your children can stop, just from her testimony. Because of her security purposes and protections of the family, we don't want to show her face, but you will hear her voice, which is okay. Which is okay. You will start by introduction as you just introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Catherine, and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and an addict. My story is long, but make sure I'll share what happened, how it was, and how it is like now. And I'm grateful to be given this platform to share my story of strength and hope to others, ladies like me. Mostly I focus on ladies because I know there are many challenges in women, because there are no rehabs. There are not many rehabs for women, and women are usually stigmatized by the society. So let me start. And I was born in a Christian family and brought up well, and taken to Sunday school, taught about Christianity and the good morals. And later, when I grew up, I was taken to nursery school, primary, and as I was okay, I attended church. I remember I was also a choir member in my early childhood. Class 1, 2, 3, I was a choir member, and things were smooth. But come when I joined secondary, I started now experiencing having these daydreams, and I could not concentrate in class. And I started now, when I was in school, I was in a boarding school, I found myself asking for permission to go home. I would sometimes say I have a toothache, a headache, my stomach is paining, and this really brought a lot of problems with my studies. Again, went to Form 3 the following year. I never concentrated again in class because of the dysfunctionality that was in my home. And now my mom decided to pay for me Form 4. I was a bright girl, and now she thought, because it was good for her to pay for me school fees for the whole year, so that I could finish school without any problem and do my exams and uplift the other siblings. But it was come second term, when we used to open school, the school management would bring a doctor to check whether we were pregnant, and it's when I was caught, and my mom was called, and I was expelled because the head teacher said that I was a hazard to the other girls. I had decided to become a mother, and I was contagious. So headmistress asked my mother to take me, and because I had paid the fees and the examination money, my mother was asked if to pay for me a house outside the school compound come third term, so that I could be able to do my exam, KCSE. And my mother was very angry with me, and she was really bitter, and she said she was not going to pay for me a house. I had decided to become a mother, so I keep that certificate of a mother. And so we went home. The following year, I gave birth to a bouncing baby boy whom I named after my dad. And when I told the guy who was responsible, he said he wanted to continue his school, that me, I was joking around with education, and so he didn't have any money. He was also still a student and a refugee. There were refugees, political refugees from a neighboring country. So me, I had now to take care of my son with the help of my mom, and things went smoothly until now. After 3 years, I could not see that guy because the government deported them, and now this time I found myself in another relationship now with a guy now who was drinking. He was an alcoholic, and I hadn't drunk liquor before. So the first date, he took me to a bar, and I ordered a soda. And he told me he was not going to buy a soda for a grown-up in a bar, and asked me to order for a drink. And I just looked around. I was not familiar with the names. I looked at the counter to check whether I could just get a name. But on my side, there was a guy who was drinking Pilsner. So I ordered for a Pilsner. And I was brought 2 bottles. And they were opened. And I just looked around and saw how people were doing. I could see them pour a little beer. They washed their glasses, they poured down. I did exactly that. And I put beer in my glass, and I had my first sip. At first, it was bitter. But because I didn't want to let this guy down, I just drank. I finished that bottle. The other bottle was opened. But when I finished drinking, I was very, very drunk. I remember I could not even stand where I was. And now this guy went home. He had a car, which he used as a taxi, a pickup. And he took me to his place. And I slept. Come the following morning, I went home. I was still having a hangover. And when I entered our house, I just wanted to sleep, so I went straight to the bedroom. My mother was outside. She had me enter, and I had gone to the bedroom and slept. And my mother came to check on me, and she found I was a bit, I was drunk. And she was very angry with me, because at first I had left my son, and I was smelling beer, and still I was drunk, even if I was not staggering. And I really had a beating from my mother. So I decided, because the guy had still dated me the following Sunday, that when I go out, I want to go back home. Come that Sunday, the following Sunday, I went out. I was bought beer. I took Pilsner. The same thing happened. I drank and I was drunk. He went home, got his car, took me to his home. And come morning, he asked me to escort me. I told him no. And me, I'm not leaving, because last time I went home, I had a thorough beating from my mother. So I stayed, and I had my first come we stay married. And it was not out of love, it was out of circumstance, because now I wanted a guy. I needed love, because I was feeling lonely, rejected. So I needed this guy. I still found this idea of drinking was cool, because I thought now those people who drink are very cool. And so we started drinking together, and things really went bad, because I would work. He was the last born brother, so we used to cook at the main house, and us would come and sleep. So I used to finish work early, so I would get him where he used to go and park his car. And I wait for him to close work, and now we could go and drink. But luckily, the sister went to the US. Now, because he was the last born brother, he was the one who was sent money. So we got money to drink. I remember now even I advanced. I started even drinking with a bill in a bar. I would just go and ask liquor. Mzee atakuja kulipa. And I saw it was cool. But now again I started having a depression because I was in the neighborhood. I was not going home. I was not going to see my son. And it's when I was told I used to drink, go to their place and abuse their family. So their family decided to chase me away because I was a threat. And they said that I didn't have good morals of a wife. So he was asked to chase me, but he refused. So the elder brothers decided that they would demolish the house so that I could go away. And one night we came, we were very drunk, and we slept. And it's at night we had now people had them outside, and they were demolishing the house. It was a cube. So I looked up and I saw the stars, and I saw really I was not drunk. It was real. At first I thought I was dreaming, but I came to know it was real. And they demolished, and the bed was left open in the. That's when now I saw it was really serious. They had a whip, and they started beating the brother. So I decided to run away. At first I had thought that we can spend the night here, even if they have demolished and we still have a bed. I can just sleep, then tomorrow morning I would have known where to go. But they didn't want us to sleep there. So me, I ran. I remember I went and hid under the car, his car. And they looked for me. I could hear them say, "She has not gone far. She's just around," because there's someone who was at the gate, and they saw that I had not passed through the gate. And they had a pit latrine. They went there. I was not there. They went to where the cows shed. I was not there. Chicken, no, I was not there. Where the pig stayed, I was not there. But they said probably she has run, because the shamba was just next to their home. They thought probably I've just disappeared kwa shamba. So they decided to go to their place and sleep. And now the guy knew I was just around, so I had him call me, and I answered back, "I'm here under the car, come and just pull me out." So he came, he pulled me out, and now he told me the next thing to do was to go to his stepsister's place. It was around the shopping center, so that he would get a place to sleep that night. And we went, and we told the stepsister what had happened. She gave us a place to sleep. And come morning, we had breakfast, and she told us, "Okay, you can stay here as long as you want, until you are able to get a place to go." We stayed there for about a week, but one of the brothers came for him, and he told him that we didn't want Catherine, but you can come back home, but usikuje na hii shetani. So me, I was left at her stepsister's place. But this time I had known women who were selling liquor in that shopping center, and they asked me whether I wanted to work as a waiter. And because I had nothing now to do, I was very desperate. I agreed, and I started working, and I was very happy because now this time I had money, and I was drinking the way I wanted, and I had a place now to stay. It's during this time that now again I met a guy now who was a hard drug user, and he had money, so I advanced now in drinking and using. I started now using bangi, white pony, and changa, tobacco. And he asked me, they had business premises in Eastleigh. So he asked me that we leave the village and join him where he used to work. And I went. That was before the year 2000. It was 1999, I think, yeah, the end of 99. And I was happy now to leave the village, working in the village and go to town. And things really went bad, because now I drank, used drugs, and life became so miserable. Because now this guy, all what he wanted was just to use drugs. So now I became like a slave, overworking. I'm the one who is there at the reception. I'm still the one who is also washing. He didn't want anybody to work, because he used to say, they are stealing from me, but I know you want to steal. So now again, I started now having depression, because of working, drinking, and I'm not resting. And now the dad and the mom died, and now they started fighting because of the property. Now this guy used to be taken to Mathare Mentor, maximum mentor, 1 year, 2 years, and now I had nowhere to go when they take him, because they used to bring even the askari to get him. He was very violent when he knew that he was being taken to Mentor.
It is his parents who passed on.
Now the siblings.
The parents who died.
They left property, and now
His parents.
Yeah, his parents. Those were it was a business, their family business. So the other siblings would take him there.
Are saying police could come for him.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was very violent. You know, you can't just get hold of a man and tell him that enter this car vehicle that we are taking you to Mathare Maximum. He has to resist. So that's why they used to bring the policemen, so that they could put pingus, so that it could be easy for him to be transported. So things became tough, because now he's taken there for 2 years, and we were not in terms with the siblings, because now I was a threat also to them, because I was a friend to their brother. And now then I decided again to get myself a job as a waiter in a local bar there, and I started selling. But things became very tough, because now I developed a very severe depression, because now I was not going home. All that story, you have not heard me that somewhere I've mentioned that I have gone home, even about my son, even about school. I just lived to drink. I remember I used to say that I want ile pombe kali. I want to drink and get drunk, not even to enjoy. There was nothing to enjoy in this life.
You wanted to be drunk.
I wanted to be drunk. I didn't want to see anything sober. I remember even this guy, the hard drug user, used to ask me, Catherine Aki, there's no day you'll want to think when you're sober. One day, even 1 hour, ukiwa sober, you see things in a sober manner. And that was not me. Every time ikiisha, I top up, at least with something. So I really hit bottom. I crossed from now Eastleigh, went to Mathare slums, and I got again a job to sell now changa in the dens. And life was really hard, because now I used to wake up very early in the morning at around 4. Unajua watu wa kutoa loko wanakuja saa 9, and then I sell until late in the evening, saa 7.
What is changa?
Changa is this cheap wine. Is it called the spirit that is sold in the ghetto?
Okay.
Yeah, so life became hard, because now I could not rest. even grooming became a problem. Sasa nimelala nikiwa mlevi. And then the customer is the one who is waking me up. So hata kwenda kuoga, I didn't have time. Because in the den, hakuna bafu, the bathrooms are outside. Now I had to wait for the owner of the den to come, nimwache, niende bafu. And sometimes he never used to come, and I'm the one who used to be there. So my life really changed.
So you are employed to sell changa?
To sell changa.
It wasn't even your business?
It wasn't my business. Excuse me. And it's during this time, even the askaris would come. Now wananishika, they take me to Pangani police station. And I remember one policeman asked me, hey, madam, don't you have anything you can do? Because sasa wewe, you are ever brought here and this is not your business. And there are times I would be taken there and the owner would not come for me because of the fine. Sometimes nimefainiwa 5,000 and then I'm taken to court, then Langata. I remember there's a time I was caught, taken to Pangani, taken to Makadara, but they had said that it was my den. But when the judge looked at me, she saw no, I was a Changa exhibit. So she said she was not going to judge me at the court in the chambers in the afternoon, so that she could see me. Come afternoon, I went to the chambers. You know, in the chambers, the judge is here and I'm seated here. We are closed. She looked at me and said, no. You are just an exhibit of a drinker. And she thought there was something weird here. So she asked the court to give me a probation officer. So I was given a probation officer. And the probation officer is the one who said that I should be taken to Langata, remand 14 days, and ichunguze. So I stayed there 14 days. The probation officer came, asked me whether my next of kin. I told her, I sijui hata namba zao. I just told her my grandmother used to live there at Bahati. You just go to Bahati and find my grandmother there. I'm not sure whether she went or she didn't, but my grandmother was old. So I was brought again to the court and I was jailed for a month. Life there was really hard. And after 1 month I was released, again went back to the ghetto.
The same business?
The same business, again I drank. That was my life, Police station, Kurudi, jela, Kurudi. And I really now started seeing that this was not my life. This life was exchanged. And during this time, when I was struggling with the alcoholism, my mother passed on. And I did not mourn her. Even I never knew she had died. She was sick and she died. And it's when someone came for me. Someone really searched for me na kanipata. And she told me that your people want you. Your mother is going to be buried tomorrow, so go and attend her funeral. And exactly, I went to the mortuary like an ordinary person, went and buried my mother, and they came back and started drinking again. So by this time, nikaanza kupata another severe depression because of now the way I was looking, thinking about my mother, thinking about my life. I started realizing that this life was not meant for me. I remembered my mother had a goat and ilikuwa na nyumba mzuri even kuliko mahali sasa mimi mwenyewe I'm sleeping. And it's when a social worker came and asked me, Catherine, what's wrong with you? Because mimi nimekuona hapa for long, many years. Unajua sasa ni 10 years. 10, 15. That life. Isili Madare, he just asked me, do you need help? And this time I needed help. How and who was the problem? And he told me he can take me somewhere at Korokocho where there are AA meetings. So I went to Korokocho. I attended the meetings. At first, they were not making sense. And I remember I used to go to the meetings, and now because my drinking ilikuwa inapenda broken things, shanties, that's where brain yangu ilikuwa condense mpaka to that level that I didn't like cool life. I just wanted shanties, broken chairs. That's where I knew there was good liquor. So when I used to leave the meetings, naona hizo nyumba zimeanguka Korokocho, I enter and I take my steam. So the social worker decided that I was to be sponsored kwa rehab, and so that at least I could do my programs in rehab. So by the grace of God, I was sponsored kwa rehab Bapongong for 3 months. And when nikiwa rehab, it's when I was able to have a counselor and a psychiatrist, and I had sessions with them every month, twice with a psychiatrist. Those now were 6 sessions, and with a counselor it was more often. And that's where I was introduced to the 12-step program and AA and NA. And when I left rehab, I went out and started attending those meetings. And at first they were not making sense, because now I was still jobless, and still these outside meetings were not making sense, because that's where I found people who were laughing, you know. Laughter to me was gone. I think I could see it on movies, people laughing. It was not normal. And it's in the rooms that I was told that they would love me until I would learn how to love myself. And but before I left rehab, the psychiatrist told me that the problem with me is that I had made alcohol and drugs my God, that I was spiritually bankrupt, and that's why I had all these unfinished businesses, and that's why everything bad was following me, because I was a spark for attracting anything negative, abuse, anything that is negative, used to find me, because I had opened the doors. And so, because now this 12-step program is a spiritual program, I was told that I would had a God of my own understanding, and it's only God who could really sustain my life and also bring back my senses and my life. Let me say that this program works. By the grace of God, I'll be 9 years sober October 28th this year. And for me, it's a work in progress. It's a day at a time reprieve. And I'm also grateful that God is faithful. God created no junk. I'm a black sheep because I'm in the family. I'm the only lady who drank. I'm the only person who always anatoa ushuhuda. I'm in the recovery, and that I need help. And things, I'm not where I think I should be, but I'm where my God wants to be. I'm grateful, and I'm not ashamed that I drank. I'm not ashamed of my life, because I know God did not cause my alcoholism, but He let me go under that state, so that I would be a book to be read, and to say that there is a God. Because for me, I know I'm a living miracle. As a woman, in the dance, in my drinking time, I've seen women who were killed by men, because of different things they did. Some stole, some probably it's that demon that pushed them to those men. And what have I gained in my recovery? 2017, I was able to go back to school, Form 3. I went to St. Peter's Clever's Adults. 2018, I did my KCSE examination, which I would have done 28 years before. And come 2019, I was able to join Amani Counseling Center. I did a certificate in basic counseling. Still the same year, I went to Kenya Institute of Social Studies. I did a course in drug substance abuse prevention and rehabilitation. Come 2020, I was sponsored by the USAID, and I did a certificate in home management. And at least I've done several courses there. And still, I was able to attend my son's dowry as a sober mother. 2 months later, attended his wedding, a sober mother. And now, let me say I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic, a sober mother and a grandmother at my age. It's just by the grace of God that I've seen the son of my son. A guy I left when he was only 3 years, so he was taken care of by my relatives. And things are work in progress. At least now we are having a good relationship. Now he's coming to know I'm the mother. You know, that's those are many years. And I've accepted myself, and I've come to know that alcoholism is a mental and spiritual disease. I've come to learn that I was not a bad mother. I was only a sick mother. And that by the grace of God, God is there for me. Even if the society discriminates me, I'm there to work for my God. And I'm going to live for that God that rescued me. I have shared, I know there are so many people who died. Even all those guys, they are not alive now. Those whom we had come stay marriages, they are dead, they are all dead. But Catherine is there alive. Yeah, to say that there is a God who really sustains. Because me, I'm a woman. What did I give God? Like that one I shared. He had money, they have money, but money did not save him. Even for me, I can't say it's not because I didn't have money. It's just by the grace. Because God's grace is sufficient. And now what I can tell the community is not to discriminate alcoholics. We are not bad people, we are only sick. And for the women out there, they should be handled with care. Because in addiction, a woman really passes through many abuses. And it's only God that can really reform. And they should be kind to us, appreciate us, because we are still mothers and grandmothers, and we still even get married, because I know even God has kept for me someone somewhere. Because I'm not all that old, sijafikisha 60, so I'm grateful to God. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Catherine. But in our program here on High Step TV, we like people to run so that they can run by other people's mistakes, so that they will not fall on those mistakes. What thing have you done which became like a trigger of all those bad things to happen in the past?
At first I can say dysfunctionality is alcoholism, we are told, is a family disease, and it's genetic. It is also, when we look in the Christian perspective, it's a generational curse, because not everybody who drank who became an alcoholic. And you cannot know whether you are an alcoholic, not unless you drink. So it's just, for me, I can say that it is, okay, like for me, I'm a Christian, and I was given my first Holy Communion when I was in class 5, and we are told the first sip is the one, it's the one that triggers. So I'm not sure whether that first communion I took, it's the one which triggered my gene. And that's why in recovery, we are told even when taking Holy Communion, we don't take wine. You can either take juice, but not wine. Because an alcoholic, I was told, and I know, and what I've come to know, that is an alcoholic will always be an alcoholic. There's no way I'll ever drink like a gentle lady. That first sip, it's the one that is dangerous. Not the 100 bottles. The first sip, because that first sip is the one that will lead me to drink. And me, I know to drink is to die. Me, I'm sure the time I'll relapse, because I've been helped by people, and I don't know whether I'll just get these people again. People I've had, they're called divine helpers. They are not my family members, but people who God has used. And for me, I know I won't get another chance. And for me, to drink is to lose my family, to lose my son, to lose the wife and my grandchildren. And people will come for my funeral. They eat and they will go back to their businesses. And me, I'll be gone.
So it looks like it was a big shame to the family.
Yeah.
What can you tell your family members?
Oh, what I can tell my family members is that I'm sorry. Yeah, if I offended anyone with my drinking. But I'm grateful to my God because He allowed it and He chose me in the family. I'm also sorry for my son because he underwent hell when I was not around. Abuse in school, people calling him a bastard. And for me, I can just say that there's a God in heaven. And if that God has kept us alive, we are enough. And I know God is going to use me and my generation to come, that there is a living God.
Now, I see your life, it's like it started to be miserable when you gave birth, right? What can you tell youth and young people who making it fun to sleep with each other prematured? I can use that language. Okay. When they are still underage, and you see it. To me, I see it like it was a trigger to start making your life going wrong, because your mother started to lose hope in you. You are no longer a student, you are a mother. So, and from there, things started going wrong. What is your message to...
Okay, for me, what I can say, we should have understanding, because God allowed me nikabeba huyo mtoto. There are people who are even in this society na hawana watoto. Okay, but we are also told that you have to plan. But mtoto hana shida. Mtoto is God-given. Mtoto is not an outcast. Because even there are people who give birth and they are married, they have done weddings and watoto wanakufa. So it is us, family, to accept people. And a mistake is not a mistake until it is repeated. No, a mistake is a mistake when you repeat it again. And I also, like for me, I never dreamt I would become a single mother. I'm a person who thought I would finish school, and I remember I used to say when I grow up I would like to be an hostess, an air hostess, because I saw the way they were smart. My mind was smart. I was smart in the head that I would have a big wedding. I had dreamt all those things. But what made me cut that dream? We are told that it is not about even me. Even my parents don't know. It's about those generational curses that they say that I'll reach a curse. The first or the fourth and the 10th generation. Probably me, I fall under the 6th or 7th generation in my family. But that's not the end. God is a faithful God. That even we are told that at our core, God has favor for his people. So for me, that's why I'm saying I'm a miracle. Yeah, there are so many people who gave birth at my age. They died, their children died. But how come that Catherine is alive? Yeah, there are people who did weddings, were divorced. Yeah, but the main thing here is to know that there is a God, kuna Mungu ambaye who sustains, that we should be forgiving. Even that's why we go to churches there, because we know that's where we find people who know the word of God. Forgiveness. We all make mistakes, yeah? We all make mistakes. And it's not because of me. There are some things that follow me that even me myself, I don't know. I have to maybe ask or pray for deliverance. That's where deliverance comes, because of those things that they follow you unknowingly or knowingly.
I think your message goes to the parents, because you have said about forgiving and accepting.
Yeah.
My request was your message to youth, young people. What can you tell them according to your experience?
To my experience is that if you are a Christian, live according to the Bible principles. There is no shortcut. There are consequences. We are told in everything there are consequences. Me, I'm bearing my own consequences because of my own things, or the things that probably which have not known happened. But that's why we are told that these diseases are mental and spiritual. That's why you see even in recovery 12-step program, it deals with spirituality.
So now, Catherine, I just ask, because we are helping young people and parents, if you are given a chance, although it will not happen, be young, to go back into those ages, how can you behave?
For me, let me say I'm still young. At my age, do I look like a show?
I'm saying
so,
those very young age, the teenagers.
For me, when I joined recovery, I was told, I stopped thinking when the year I started using, that's where I stopped growing. Because now my brain, I stopped growing, and me, I started drinking at the age of, I think, 24. So now 24 plus 9, so it'll be 9. I'm 31 years. So my age, I'm 31 years now. So as I'm still young, because now my brain is now started working. Ilikuamilia pale nikiwa 24. And that's why you see, when I stopped, nilijoin shule, nikaenda form 3. Kwa sababu sasa, that's where now, age yangu, mwili yes, inaonekana nimegrow miaka, but brain yangu stopped growing when I started using. So at least sahii niseme niko poa because niko 30s. And that's when I said, hata nitapata bwana, si ndio? Nitapata, because sasa brain yangu imeanza kugrow na niko 32 years. So nikifanya what mapenzi ya Mungu, God is there. God has forgiven me.
You are very young. I'm asking you in this direction of young, it's like children.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Teenagers. Like me, if you ask me if I become a teenager, what I can do, I can. There is some things I regret that I could have done by then. So I'm asking you now, we assume you are 14 years girl. What can you do? Or this, I want this child who are there, those teenagers, how can they behave so that they will not have same consequences?
Wasikize wazazi. There's no way your mother or your father dislikes you when anakushauri. And still, when you, like now, if you're a Christian, tunatichwa in unaenda Sunday school, ukona those basic, you have basic knowledge of Christianity. Okay, you have an access of a Bible. Unajua, if you do this, this will happen. Even in the Bible, there are consequences that if you don't go according to the word of God, yeah, God is faithful, utapata pesa, utapata watoto, but you live a bitter life. You see, utakosa hizo vitu zote, you still live a bitter life. So for me, I can ask the teenagers just to stay the way God wants. And that is through Bible study and praying for God's will. And not trying to, this peer pressure, this kind of life tunasemanga swags, ati cool life, unataka fashion, unataka these things, unajua the posh, the things we call, mi nataka kuishi maisha ingine, si ya ufala. Everything has a consequence. Even that life, unasema ni posh, you'll find up yourself hitting bottom. Even me, nilisema, starting this kind of ufala hii, na nikajipata nimeenda the other way. So ninawaomba tu that wakae venye Mungu anataka, wasikize wazazi, wasikize wahubiri, na wafanye mapenzi ya Mungu. Kufanya mapenzi ya Mungu.
Now, what is your message to people who are living with alcohol people?
Okay, for me, I can say those people who are living with alcoholics, they should treat them well and know this is a disease. Because most people say that siendi alienda kwa baa kajibaia, siendi alijinunulia, nani alimweka kwa mdomo. Unaona? But this is a disease, a mental disease. This is a mental disease. So, what I can tell the relatives, they handle them with care. Watafutie the right channels za kuwarudisha to get their senses back. Because that's why unaona even in the society, there are so many deaths, suicidal, mostly suicidal. You find a person who is a student, 14 years, anaandika barua, commit suicide. Because alcoholism is a family disease, whether you are drinking or not. Inaleta dysfunctionality in the family. And still, there are other programs even for relatives and friends of alcoholics. There is a program of how to handle these people. Because even most of the families, they enable even the alcoholics to drink. They are the triggers. In fact, even in recovery, tunaambiwa ukitoka, the first trigger ni family members. Those people who are very close to you. Because kuna watu wengine, when you started drinking, they don't want you to sober up. Because kuna venye they used to take advantage of you. Kuna wengine wanajua your spirit is listening their spirit. Utakamu wa overshadow, and they don't want that. There are people who talked about you, and sasa they don't want to say sorry. They had declared you are zero. Uko zero, you are good for nothing, utakufa. And now again uko recovered, and they don't want to eat their words. Yeah? So we should be forgiving.
I think you are heading where you wanted to come. Now the consequences you are having in the society and in the families due to your past story. What are you facing in the society? How are you? What is consequences that are you facing because of your history?
Okay, for me, I can say, in the society is sinners. It's a sinners, sinners blaming other sinners for sinning differently. Eh? Now, they might think now me, I'm the bad one because I drank. I'm a sinner, I drank. Like now you go to functions, they look at you, they discuss you, they see you and you are the hopeless thing. Eh? And for me, it is very difficult to deal with society, because if they underline you, they say you were mubaya, probably you abused someone when you're drinking, or probably you misbehaved when you're drinking. They'll keep on reminding you. Eh? Unakumbuka, they remind even things you did 20 years. Eh? Unakumbuka sikusaidia, sijui saw you pale hivi ukiwa mlevi, sijui ukaongea. But that one is for them, because for me, I can only change myself. I'm responsible for myself. What people think and do, it's theirs. It's theirs. But if I change and I know that I've really changed, what they do to me will not offend me. Because even them, they have their issues, they have their problems that they have not solved. So, and for me, I've come to know it is a disease like any other. Alcoholism is a disease like diabetes, cancer. So, for me, I don't know, in recovery, I don't feel ashamed. In the first years, singetoka hata kuenda kwa mazishi, because I was scared. When going to my programs, I would check whether there are people on stage. Unaona, fear, wasinione, then they start talking about what I did. But for me now, I'm okay. And that's why I'm here sharing what I did now. What I did has become my testimony. Hizo vitu mbaya, I'm not asking people to do what I did.
So what is your biggest regret in all that has happened? What do you think you feel that you missed, kabisa?
My greatest regret is leaving my son at an early age, because I also caused him trouble, you see. And hiyo ni kitu siwezi reverse, you know. But for me, I've forgiven myself, and that's why I'm here sharing. Juu siwezi taka mama mwingine ache mtoto wake akiwa 3 years. Unajua sasa I cannot get him back kwa umri yangu ati tena ni mzae, because now I'm sober. Muangalie tena. But what I can do is just to pass the message that it's dangerous. It's very dangerous kuacha mtoto because of pombe. Unaona hiyo ni ku-exchange pombe na mtoto. It is very dangerous because it is also harmful for me and for him. Even the growing, even the abuse, just to make him understand that I was not bad, I was sick. Pia yako na issues zake that he underwent. And you know, we are told hurt people. The most, if you are hurted and abused, you are likely to abuse. Yeah, but there is a God that cleanses all the abuse. And I'm praying that mimi nikuwe the breaker of that curse. Sitaki mtu mwingine in my generation apitie what I've gone through. Even my worst enemy. I always pray that asiwai, even my worst enemy, singetaka. Yeah. So
you have told us that you recovered in a program called the AA.
Yes.
What's the meaning of AA?
AA is it's called Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, and it's a worldwide fellowship that where we meet and we share our stories of strength and hope with each other. Yeah, that we may solve our common problem. The only requirement is only a desire to stop drinking and using. Yeah.
And by the way, I was to ask that and I forgot. When you were taken there, were you desiring to stop, or you have just gotten that desire when you were in AA?
Okay, at first, I wanted to change, but still, I wanted to drink maybe I'll be taught how to drink like a gentleman lady, Because I see women who drink and they drive. They are okay, they have houses. Now, what about me, Catherine? I thought probably I'm drinking badly. That's why I'm an alcoholic.
So you wanted somewhere
guide you in drinking. But I was told I'm an alcoholic. I have an allergy with alcohol. It's like the way some people eat meat. They have allergy to meat. But there are people who are okay in drinking. But
I'm starting to understand. So it is like an allergy.
I'm allergic.
So that's why there is people who drink
and they are
okay. Others,
my type is 10%. Out of the people who drink, 10% are the one who become alcoholic. 90% hawana shida. But me, I am among the 10%. And you can't know whether you're among the 10%, not unless you drink, because I started like just drinking those two. This disease is progressive. It is progressive, and it's progressive individually. There are people who drink even 1 year, they become alcoholics. There are people even who become alcoholics wakiwa wazee at the age of 70. Unaweza wana, what's wrong with this man? Alikuwa mzuri, sasa ni nini? Because it is progressive. It is progressive. And if you are an alcoholic, hiyo kitu itakushika. So for me, I will never drink. I'll never drink. Me to drink is to die.
So now you went in AA when you wanted to be guided how you can drink
socially.
And you ended up stopping.
Yeah, I was told
everything.
I was told now in the program, I was told this is for alcoholics. Here it is to stop. Here you can never, once you are land in that program, when I got myself in that program, I was told that now you are an alcoholic. Hakuna reverse. There's no way to change to say, oh my, at one day I'll go and take 2 bottles. Me, I'm not a person who can drink 2 bottles. Me, even in my drinking time, I used to hate those people who put liquor, alafu wanaacha. Kuna piga kelele sana, and I'm not the one who has bought. What's wrong with this person? Anaacha pombe. Kwa nini anatupa pombe hivi? You see, because it was my God, and it's not me who bought. Ni madharau. I'm feeling bad, you know. For me, unanibaia and I still want more. Sijamaliza hata yenye iko hapa. I still want more. Obsession. I had that. I just want more and more and more and more. And that's now, those are the symptoms of an alcoholic. Wanting more, and I still have.
I know there is one person here who is watching us, and I know he has enjoyed, but he's asking, how can I be involved in AA? How can I meet them? Where is it? How can I get Catherine so that she can help? I think you, as we finish, you can guide a person who wanted to change.
Okay, for me, I can say you don't have to go to rehab. There are meetings in Nairobi and outside Nairobi, and you can Google Alcoholic Anonymous Kenya on their website, and it is there. Yeah, they have a helpline number. You'll still get it there, and you'll get help. Yes, thank you.
And if you are free to share your contact to allow anyone to come to you direct.
Okay.
You can share.
Yeah, I can share my number. That is 0702 51 221.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in up to the end of this show. And I would like to request you to subscribe, comment, a good comment according to the story, and you just remember to like, not because of numbers, but to help this video to reach many people. Thank you very much. I've been your host, Sebazungu Theophil, and bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you.
This is High Step Media Production.
Je, wewe ni msanii na ungependa kuchukua hatua kabambe katika kuboresha usanii wako? Je, wewe ni msanii mpya usiyejua utaanza vipi katika kufanikisha usanii wako? Je, wahitaji kufanywa video za harusi, matukio, dokumentari, au pia kutengenezewa filamu na kupigwa picha? High Step Media ina majibu kwa masuala haya yote kwa bei rahisi. Tutembelee pale Homeland au wasiliana nasi kwa njia ya simu kupitia nambari 0706299166. Karibu.
Kazi yao wanafanya ni kazi nzuri sana. Nimefurahia sana kazi ambao wanafanya.
Come High Step Media Production. You never know, you can be a star of tomorrow.
Step Media, kwanza wana upendo, ni wakarimu sana. Na kama ni wakarimu ndio maana tumefika hapa tumefika. High Step Media.